Join me for a warm-up for a run. We're going to start with some ankle circles. You can do one at a time or two together if you are pressed for time. Go in both directions. Let's do both. Making your largest range of motion on each ankle. I like to curl my toes in. Feels fun and exciting for me. Some people like to pull their toes back towards their shins. You can do both. The goal is to try and keep your knees stable and your shins stable and just move in the largest range of motion possible through the ankles. All right, now we'll do toe lifts. So ground down all your toes and then lift the big toes, and then big toes stay grounded and little toes lift, and then you switch back and forth. And the goal here is to get your toes moving because you're about to be on your toes a lot for your run. You could also do this warm up for any other cardio session. Bike, dance, row, etc. All right, you can do more of those, especially if you have ankle or foot issues. Then we'll do our hip cars. You can do these standing or quadruped. Largest range of motion as possible through one hip, aiming to keep everything else stable. And that way we can just tell that hip, say, hey hip, we're getting ready to use you. Can we pull as much awareness as possible into that joint? Get some blood flow. Oof, I just sat at the desk for a few hours doing a bunch of back end work. And my hips feel cranky. So if you have a 9-to-5, this is for you. All right, other hip, everything's stable, moving around through that hip socket. Oof. Squeezing your heel to your glute, heel to butt, to create some extra engagement through those muscles. Change directions, the largest range of motion that's possible, while maintaining stability through the rest of the body as best you can. Getting some good blood flow into that joint and building that connection between your brain and your joint to say hello. Let's go for a run. Now take one leg forward, other knee back, one hand to the ground. If you've got left leg forward, you're going to bring left elbow down towards the ground. It does not have to touch, just reaching in that direction, and then we'll twist. So it's a reach down with that elbow. Got some deep hip flexion here on this side, deep hip crease, and then we rotate open for a little spinal work. This is my go-to. That way, this whole sequence is my go-to. That way, when we go on a run, that way I can't psych myself out and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know a warm-up. Nope, I already know a warm-up. So I can't back out of my run because I don't know what to do for a warm-up. So I do the same thing before my runs. Helps with the routine. My body knows what's coming next. It gives me a moment to kind of recheck with my brain, like, okay, cool. Now we know what's happening next. Kind of phasing out of the computer desk and phasing in to the workout. All right. Next up, we've got some leg swings. Go forward and back 10 to 20 times. Watch behind you. Hold on to something. It's less about stability and more about dynamic movement in this hip to, again, bring some more blood flow into the big muscles of your booty and your leg. Quads, hamstrings, glutes, adductors, abductors and all kinds of things. Oh, guess what? There's maybe, you know how we think we know about all kinds of stuff in the body? Well, sometimes we don't because we're still learning. So I was listening to Dr. Andy Galpin's Perform podcast, and he was talking about the quadriceps and how there's a study that's trying to prove that there's a fifth quadricep muscle. So, isn't that cool? Still learning, still discovering things. Switch legs, forward and back. Notice this side. Any different? My right back feels kind of funny, but that's normal for me, especially after sitting for a long time. So I'm not alarmed, and it's a manageable sensation. And we go side to side. My right hip also pops. Bink. It does it less when I strength train. It does it less when I'm more active and mobile. It does it more when I'm static. Oof. All right. Okay, hips, ankles, toes. We did some rotation. And now we're ready. Enjoy your run. Let me know how it goes. And any questions, I'm here.